I also have anti-air on the fortresses. I think the money worked out really well if I sold 1 unit of chaff or something like that, and that's what I did, if I remember correctly. Now then, this is certainly not amazing. The first salvo of the fortress here doesn't hit much. That gets 3 phoenixes. And one of them at least was upgraded. So basically the aerial issue has more or less been resolved. It's just that this pull was really bad for me. But even so, is it necessarily looking all too bad for me? That is a bit unfortunate that I get a second debuff here. But the fortress with the amp core is just doing a good job. If I hadn't gotten the second tower debuff, I think I would have won this round. But with the second tower debuffs and 2 packs of level 1 Stormcallers shooting a fortress, despite amp core, this is kind of doomed. Orbital Javelin comes out and I'm really scared of it. Because I have some juicy things that you could go for. Orbital Javelin, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, goes through personal shields and bubble shields. It will directly attack the HP of this fortress and can kill it. I do drop some additional fortresses simply so that I can't really be destroyed by them. My opponent is really set up for aggro. I think at this point I can accurately confirm this is aggro, despite it looking like a bit of a normal start. He also goes for fortresses. I have EMP and I can delay this, and it's very unfortunate that my opponent puts his fortresses right here, because now the shield is going to lose almost all of its capacity. Second fortress comes out. I guess now here would have been an even more juicy target. Ah, he puts it here, okay. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. He did also buy out, which surprises me, because HP is not even remotely looking like a lot has happened here. We're on round 6, but this is not a lot of HP damage done so far on either side. Not all of the Phoenixes got delayed. I misaimed that a bunch. I have a lot more fortresses. I have and more powerful fortresses than my opponent. This one is level 2 with an amp core. It's not messing around, let me tell you that much. It's taking out some Phoenixes. The Wasps here get shredded. There's also no anti-air or no air unit here. Typhoons are just fodder for these fortresses. They will take them out super quickly. And in this round, I completely steamroll my opponent. He gets one more fortress here. Does he get anything else? Not even the marksman. That is terrifying amounts of damage, and suddenly it looks like, yeah, this is a match that can happen at round 7. Now the theoretical counters for fortresses come out, melting points and scorpions. Scorpions, I think, honestly, they have been hit so hard with the nerf hammer that they're not really worth it. And I decide to go into steel balls. Because 3 packs of steel balls against someone who has fortresses on the line sounds like a good deal to me. My opponent is getting fire. I guess the steel balls are kinda distracting the fire as well, but I don't think it will matter a whole lot. He also got some additional melters from the unit drop, I think, that he has put with range here. So right now he's ahead on fortress tech, more or less, at least when it comes to a direct fortress brawl. I go for EMP on the marksman. What did I even go for EMP on the marksman for? And I'm putting something in the flanks simply to pull all of these phoenixes. I think he started to sell off some phoenixes here. He might plan to just sell all the air units and win the game this way by having myself with a tech that does nothing anymore. Let's just speed this one up. I do end up going for range on the Arclight, simply so that I have a little bit of a chaff clear. Fortress shields being annihilated by steel balls, for the most part at least. And also the anti-air missiles have enough of an AoE so that they explode to damage fortress shields. The melters here are really scary because they have locked onto my fortresses. With the fire, they are really getting a lot of value. There still is chaff left over, but I think the range on the arc lights is doing pretty good work here. The pull might have actually worked against me in the sense that now there is phoenixes moving in. And I think under a tower debuff I'm just going to lose this one, am I not? The arc lights aren't proper carry arc lights. I guess the marksman is high enough DPS, but the second tower debuff finishes it. And as much damage as I was able to do to my opponent, about as much he is able to do to me now. Another item comes out, or underground threat, and I think that is just better, distracting more of his units. He also went for underground threat. I don't really have much to deal with that either. I now go for fists on the fortresses and put some levels down. I now have a level 3 and 3 level 2 fortresses. 3 level 2 fortresses. The level 3 and one of the level 2 fortresses have items as well. So they are really hitting hard. I'm putting more crawlers. Oh no, he's putting crawlers here, apparently to guard. Yeah, these fangs were hopefully, or are hopefully taking the maximum amount of time. I am putting some fangs here in an effort to distract these melting points for as long as I possibly can, and these phoenixes. And of course, since they are further away, they will not get missiled. So they will hopefully do a decent job distracting the phoenixes on the flanks. Amp core on the level 2 melting point here. That melting point also is level 2. I have bought out completely. My opponent so far has not. I'm also dropping some wasps here apparently. Because that will for sure distract a lot of stuff. He adds shields on the fangs. I end up dropping some missiles so that I don't get flanked from behind. And add a missile here to get rid of the chaff, but he has shields so this chaff survives. This fortress shield survives with almost no damage taken. But the fortress attacks are quickly dealing with it. Fortresses have a surprising amount of DPS. Flanks have gotten cleaned up, but apparently the crawlers that I put in the middle, I must have relocated them once more, actually do get the tower. And under a tower debuff, a level 3 fortress is surprisingly good against a level 2 melter, so long as it doesn't take too long. At the end of the day, my opponent still does take down some units, but it ends up being enough. And I win the fortress brawl. He did sell out of the wasps, but I think I dropped the fortresses at the correct time. He had 5 air units. That takes a while to sell out of, especially if you have unit drops coming in. So I think that was decent. I mean, he was able to use the unit drop. But I think that was some good fortress play. Not a lot of fortresses, but pretty good levels on these fortresses. And some really juicy flanking, I think, as well. I must have relocated the crawlers, and for whatever reason, they were beating these crawlers. These were probably lured to the outside, and then they were getting the tower, which ended up being the win for me. How nice. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening, and until next time.